Yeah, it was
We're going to try and move ahead to get an early mark. Firstly, congratulations on the way you did the first round of questions. If you keep going that way, you will get a gold star at the end. Well done. Any questions on the process before we move on? So let me hand over now to Holly. Holly, just the previous contestant brought us orange juice. Did you bring any biscuits by chance?
I didn't want to get caught for bribery, so I didn't.
Believe me, this group is predominantly in the grocery industry and they are open to corruption.
Well, if you wait this night in your gift bags, that might be.
Okay.
That's the best I can do.
All right. Good luck with your hands.
Perfect. Thank you so much. So yes, I'm Holly. I am the assistant brand manager on Tim Tam, which I would argue is one of the best jobs in Australia. And thank you all for the opportunity to be here today. I am so excited and extremely humbled by the opportunity, and I hope we're able to learn something today. So without further ado, 5%. According to Harvard, that is the average success rate for innovation. Just 5%. Would you accept those odds? Good morning, everyone. I'm Holly. And just like innovation, Getting here was not guaranteed. 80 essays, 6 finalists, that is a 7.5% success rate, which is actually better than your odds of launching a winning product. So I guess I'm here as proof that when you back the right idea, it pays off. Now, innovation has always been a tough bet, and today's market conditions are only compounding the challenge. Yet, innovation remains essential. It drives category growth, unlocks new occasions, and meets evolving consumer needs. So the question isn't if we innovate, it is how we innovate better. Today's shopper is more selective, more informed, and more value conscious than ever before. But the key is they are not saying no to spending. They are simply saying, prove it. That is why manufacturers and retailers need to stop working in parallel and start solving in partnership. So I have created the blueprint for successful innovation, built on insight, experience, and urgency. Over the next 20 minutes, we'll look at a new model designed to shift how we approach innovation. We'll expose the current barriers holding us back and dive into 6 clear moves, 3 for manufacturers and 3 for retailers. But first, let's be clear. There is only one person who decides if your innovation succeeds. It's not Amanda, it's not Leah, it's not Fred. Let's meet your real CEO. This is your CEO. They don't sit on your board, they don't approve your budgets, but they make the only decision that really matters. They put your product in their basket, or they don't. Your shopper is your CEO. And if we're honest, too much innovation never makes it past them. Not because it wasn't clever, not because there was a lack of ideas or insights, but because it didn't resonate. It didn't matter enough. It didn't move them. So what does true shopper-first innovation actually look like? I was always taught that innovation was about solving a shopper need. That is true, but it is only half the hand. Real innovation doesn't ask for permission. It finds gaps, shifts behavior, and creates opportunity before the shopper even knows it's missing. Just look at the printing press, smartphones, electric vehicles, or my personal favorite, air fryers. All game changers that solved unmet needs and reshaped habits. That is the new bar for innovation. It is not just about solving, it is about shifting. So that is a fantastic segue into the shift model I created. It is the strategic lens I will apply to every recommendation going forward. Let's take a look. S is a shopper-led tension. Innovation starts with a real unmet shopper need. H is habit forming. It changes how people shop, eat, live, even just a little. I is insight and data backed. It is grounded in meaningful consumer insight. F is fuels the category. It must add value and provide incrementality. And finally, T, it is tested with consumers before, not after launch. But before we raise the bar, I want to emphasize what is currently holding us back. Let's be real. We are all feeling it. The cost of living crisis. It has created a shared squeeze that is tightening decisions for shoppers, manufacturers, and retailers. For the shopper, our CEO, the stakes are high. 83% of Australians are feeling the cost of living pressure. Prices are rising faster than incomes, And every purchase feels like a risk versus reward decision. Will I like it? Will my household eat it? Is it worth my money? The risk is real, but willingness to spend is still there. It is just reserved for what shoppers feel is worth it. For retailers, the stakes are just as high. Margins are tighter, shelf space is shrinking, and growth is harder to find. Retailers, though, they aren't anti-innovation. They are pro-certainty. And innovation in today's context doesn't just look risky, it looks expensive. And now I want to take a moment to talk about pricing ladders. As we know, every category has tiers designed to reflect the mosaic of shoppers' needs. The catch for manufacturers: private label isn't just dominating the base of the ladder anymore. They are scaling the ladder with speed and intent. Just look at the success of Coles Finest. In the latest quarter, Coles Finest grew 13.7%, just in the latest quarter. You can even have a look to the success of phantom brands, such as Coles Koi and Woolworths Sam's Pantry. Strong branding, clear positioning, and growing trust. Finally, for manufacturers, 70% have faced increased input costs of at least 20% in the last year. Risk appetite is smaller, so we are seeing a move towards low cost, low resource innovation. But if it doesn't land with the shopper, it is not low risk. It is just slow fail. So yes, the barriers are very real, but they are shared. And that is why innovation has to work harder. Harder for the shopper, the manufacturer, and the retailer. So to do that, we have to start looking at innovation through the lens of a triple win. By creating value for each player in the ecosystem, we lower risk, lift reward, and are able to deliver results. Because in a high stakes environment like this, for innovation to succeed, it has to succeed for all. So here is how we do it. 6 clear moves, 3 for manufacturers and 3 for retailers. Each is designed against the shift model, the theory behind smarter, shopper-led innovation. The triple win is how we bring it to life, delivering value for each stakeholder. The result, odds so good you'd be kicked out of Vegas. Or in Bernie's case, kicked out of Vegas for the second time. Sorry, Bernie. All right, let's kick off manufacturer recommendations with a mindset shift. Innovation does not have to start or end inside your building. Open innovation is a powerful approach and is more than just idea generation. Let me show you through the example of Unilever. Unilever's open innovation model spans everything from partnering with startup accelerators, academic labs, to consumers themselves. One of the strongest proof points is Pureit, their water purification system. It was co-developed with health, tech, digital, environmental partners to tackle unsafe drinking water in developing countries. Together, they developed a product that provides clean and affordable drinking water to more than 30 million people and built a $72 million business while doing so. So this example shows that when open innovation is done right, it doesn't just add creativity. It delivers commercially viable innovation with stronger validation, hitting the S in shift by tackling a real shopper need. For the manufacturer, it means an expanded idea funnel and faster, lower cost innovation. For the retailer, they get access to more relevant, market-ready ideas without having to develop it themselves. For the shopper, they benefit from superior, more innovative products. Now, everyone loves to talk about disruption, the big, bold, market-shaking innovation, but let's be real. Most of what we launch is not that. It is incremental. It sits in established categories besides brands people already know and trust. Consumer preference testing is your way of determining whether your product will add to the category. Nestle does this exceptionally well, and they hit the T in shift by testing with real consumers before launch. Nestle employs a 60-40 approach, where unless 60% of consumers prefer their product in a blind taste test, it doesn't launch. Take the success of Nescafe espresso concentrates. One of the best testing ideas in Nescafe history. It tapped into the growing Gen Z and millennial trend towards cold coffee. It carved out a fresh usage moment in a highly competitive category and is now being rolled out globally. Consumer preference testing doesn't just test taste. It tests whether your product deserves its shelf spot. For manufacturers, it de-risks launches by validating product appeal and market fit. For retailers, they get confidence that a launch will resonate with their consumers and provide incrementality. And for shoppers, they get launches that reflect their tastes, preferences, and habits. That's the triple win. Now, to close out manufacturer recommendations, let's talk about one of the biggest traps in new product development, cannibalization. Too often, innovation cannibalizes what is already working. True growth comes from innovating adjacent to your core in ways that reshapes behavior and habit, hitting that H in shift. Still to this day, one of the best examples of this is Coca-Cola mini cans. I know you might be thinking, isn't this just a line extension? But let me tell you why it is more. Coke unlocked a completely new usage occasion by introducing a smaller, portion-controlled format. This targeted the new consumer that wanted healthier, more convenient servings. A clear win for both the manufacturer and retailer was unlocking pack price architecture. Mini cans are $1.35 per litre more expensive than regular cans. That is margin upside for both stakeholders. For manufacturers, they can unlock incremental growth and higher value per unit. For retailers, they broaden their range stretch and are able to strengthen pricing tiers. And for shoppers, they get more flexibility and choice to suit their changing habits. Real innovation knows its job, understands the core, respects it, and builds around it. All right, let's move on to retailer recommendations. Once a manufacturer has done their part, the next step is early alignment with retail partners. This means moving beyond a handshake at range review into strategic engagement at the concept stage. This puts both sides on the same betting slip and delivers on I in shift by anchoring innovation in shared, insight-led thinking. At this stage, responsibility should become shared. If a retailer doesn't see the value in a new product, it is far better to be transparent early. But if they do see the value, then genuine buy-in is required. Take the launch of Tim Tam Jats. One of the best, it was started out as an April Fool's joke, but quickly turned into serious innovation when that Coles buyer saw the concept, committed from day one, over a year out from launch. This early collaboration gave Tim Tam the confidence to invest in a bold idea. For the retailer, it was a clear point of difference. An exclusive flavor play at a time where soaring cocoa costs meant that every chocolate biscuit SKU had to earn its shelf spot. The result? 76% incrementality, ranked number 4 in the Tim Tam range, and is now ranged nationally. And no, not every launch will have this scale of partnership, but it does show what is possible when collaboration happens from day one. For manufacturers, it de-risks launches and ranging outcomes. For retailers, they're able to shape innovation around their shoppers and category growth plan. For shoppers, they benefit from more considered, aligned launches. Now, let's talk about mutual value creation. Because for innovation to stick, it has to create value on both sides. This means backing the idea beyond range review with in-store presence, visibility, and sustained support. Take the launch of Lynx Fine Fragrances in Woolworths last year. It wasn't just listed, it was championed. A fully integrated campaign brought to life with custom point of sale assets, digital amplification, and a town hall takeover. At the same time, Lynx supported the launch on their owned and earned social media channels. Together, they grew Gen Z shoppers by 39% and increased new to category buyers by 64%. When trade support is met with brand-led innovation, products don't just launch, they fuel the category, hitting that final shift benchmark. For manufacturers, it accelerates launch and trial and awareness. For retailers, it does the same whilst also increasing foot traffic and basket size. Shoppers, they are able to discover launches and new products in a way that feels exciting. Now, the final recommendation is co-branded private label partnerships. This Easter, co-branded partnerships were everywhere in the form of hot cross buns. From Cinnabon, Caramel to Ice Bobo, hot cross buns became a masterclass in brand power. They didn't just create launch hype. They delivered value across the board. Take the launch of Woolworths and Biscoff's hot cross buns, which I personally love, even though I know I'm not meant to. But these delivered not only hot cross bun sales, but for Biscoff biscuit sales, they grew 38% during that time period. So for brands, it means expanded footprint and increased sales with little risk or investment. For retailers, they're able to leverage a company's existing brand equity and consumer base. And for shoppers, they're able to have products they know and love in new formats and new aisles. So now that we've wrapped up retailer recommendations, let's bring it all together. Innovation for too long has felt like a gamble. Manufacturers shoulder the risk. Retailers wait for certainty. And shoppers wait for something worth buying. That disconnect is the gap we need to close, and exactly why this new approach is so critical. So, the shift model is the theory, the lens that defines what successful shopper-led innovation looks like in today's context. The triple win is how we bring it to life, translating great ideas into shared value for each stakeholder. And the 6 recommendations you just heard, that is where it all comes together. They are actionable moves that bridge the gap between ambition and outcome. They cut through the barriers of today's environment, and most importantly, put the shopper, our CEO, back at the center of every decision. Because when we raise the bar and raise it together, innovation becomes what it is meant to be. Table mates splitting the jackpot. And suddenly, that 5% success rate, it isn't your ceiling. It is your floor. Thank you, everyone.
Well done, Holly. So now we're going to move to questions on your paper.
Well done on the presentation, and I love the ice photos as well, so well done on that as well.
There we go.
They're definitely better than the Biscoff one.
Oh.
Collaboration and early collaboration is critical.